Oh, hello there. Nope, not going to sing it. Not this time. Nope, it's over. I'm over it. Hello there, CriterioNate here. Welcoming you to the final part chapter section of 369D. 369D. Paul Robeson, Portraits of an Artist. Number 373, Paul Robeson, Citizen of the World, featuring the movies Penn Tennyson's The Proud Valley and Leo Hurwitz and Paul Strand's Native Land. Now, by this point, Paul Robeson had, his movies were extremely politically driven. He, seemed to focus mostly on politically driven works, and it's funny, how just thinking about, the world today and how a lot of celebrities, nowadays are trying to fight the good fight and, speak out, and get very politically, and all that. And yet, a lot of people, don't like it. Don't want their favorite celebrities to, get all serious and all that. They just want to be entertained, And I feel like that's how we treated Paul Robeson back then, He saw something that needed to be changed, and he wanted to change it. And we didn't care. We didn't really care for him to change anything, All we wanted him was to sing, and to sing entertaining songs, And we probably didn't want him to change the N-word in Old Man River. And I say we extremely loosely, of course. But there's the reality. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about this. Paul Robeson, Proud Valley. 1940, 77 minutes, black and white. So, Paul Robeson plays David Goliath, who's a sailor who comes to, comes to Welshland, he's looking for work, and he ends up joining this choir after singing outside their window, and they love his voice, and he ends up getting a job working with the miners. And at first, some people are a little weary of working with him because he is colored. But by halfway through the movie, he's treated as a complete and utter equal. In fact, I think race is only mentioned, once throughout the whole movie. I think one of the wives, one of the miners, is a little weary about it, about her husband working with a colored man. But I don't know. There is that and there is that, I think that's probably the only thing, that's the only thing that I picked up. But anyway... So David works with the miners, and he ends up saving one of the miners. He ends up trying to save one of the lives of one of the miners' fathers, that he worked with, and they sing a song dedicated to him. I forget, this Deep Valley, I think the name of it was. And so anyway, yeah. So basically, the whole movie is just kind of really shows a very gritty look at the miners' lives back in the 40s, and just what they were going through. And again, Robeson is treated, David is treated as an equal throughout the movie. He is relied on for his strength because he's a very strong, powerful man. But outside of that, they kind of, I love the dialogue. I love how, they kind of just, it just kind of flows through. It just happened. It just so happens that he is black. And they don't mention it, or they mention the fact that he is strong, that he's a big man, but anybody could have been a big man, So yeah, at one point, they have to try and save these miners, and he actually helps them revolt against the corporation, helps the miners revolt because apparently, I think the corporation had them working in a really unsafe pathway, or an unsafe mine, when there was a much safer route to be taken. But yeah, so they went to fight, and yeah, so they started a little revolution in their town. However, at the end of the movie, David dies after trying to save a number of the miners. At one point, they come up with this idea to blast through to a new pathway, and they end up losing one of the carts, the mining carts, gets away from them and goes down and smashes this new pathway that they were trying to reinforce, and killing 2 of the miners and ending up starting an avalanche that kills David at the end of the movie. And they do a tribute to him, and the final song, at the end of it shows a very pastoral look at the land and hearing David's voice and all that. So again, I know that's not the greatest summary of the plot, but it's a really enjoyable movie. It's definitely a showcase for Paul Robeson as an actor, and a showcase to see a black actor being treated as an equal, and and not just. I think it was probably a role that Paul Robeson was extremely proud of being in, and one that he spoke highly of, throughout his years as an actor. So, that being said, what can I say? I give it an A. It's a fantastic movie, and I would love to see it again, because again, it took me by surprise, seeing all the other movies, finally putting away the race relations, once and for all. It seemed like Paul Robeson was set. Now, Native Land, 1942, 88 minutes, black and white roll. Now, this is an entirely different movie compared to Private Valley. First of all, Paul Robeson does not appear in face. He is a narrator, and he narrates the story. It's a story about the rights of workers. There's a lot of union. It's basically about the union, and a lot of the people who tried to stop the unions. People who died, unsafe, and basically about unsafe workers, like living situations. Farmers who died because they weren't safe. There's a lengthy sequence about halfway through the film, about a quarter of the way through the film, featuring a sequence where a spy is planted into a union, and they interrogate him, and they find out that he's got the names of these workers in the inside of his coat, and they tear it off, and the man who found them out is congratulated. However, it is revealed that he was a spy, and they planted him and the other guy to make it look as if, to bump him up so that he's eventually vice president of the union. And I guess, that was the thing back then. A lot of corporations didn't want their workers to unionize because, they seemed unfair, so that, if they found out that they were unionized, and at some point, eventually the guy squeals on them all, and they're all, basically let go, because they weren't allowed to unionize. And it's a very scary thought, that you could lose your job because, you wanted it to be better, and it's really sad. And the people who are, and there's also sequences with people who, and just in case I didn't make this clear enough, it's a documentary film, but it has a lot of reenactments or real life situations. There's some footage, and all that, but there's also a sequence where a bunch of Klansmen stop a car and tar and feather a politician for speaking out for, I guess, for race relations and all that, and all that good stuff. But yeah, again, Paul Robeson's role in this is, one might think it's minimal because of the fact that he doesn't appear on face and he's only doing narration, but that's not really how I see it. I feel like the narration, for instance, in the supplements, he mentioned, what was his name? Tom Hurwitz, who was Leo Hurwitz's son, mentions that Paul Robeson rehearsed the narration a number of times. He wanted to nail this, and so he was very, very excited and happy to be part of that project. And so Robeson's dedication, to the narration is definitely not something to be overlooked, and so and I think that's, I think his voice really does mean something to this project, and he gets to sing. He does sing, I think, 1 or 2 songs, and so again, Native Land is a very scary look, a very powerful look, but a very, very scary at the same time. Um, what do I give it? I'll give it an A. Again, I think this was probably, these two movies really do give Robeson the best of everything, best of everything, the best of both worlds. He's able to act on screen and tell a powerful story, and act off screen and tell a even more powerful story, a much more relevant story to his people, the American people. And yeah, so there's that. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Let's see, supplements. The Story of Native Land, which again was an interview with Tom Hurwitz, was Neil Hurwitz's son, mostly talking about Native Land and Robeson's role, but mostly about Native Land. He does talk about Paul Robeson, but obviously I'm sure Criterion interviewed him because hey, we're putting it in a Paul Robeson set. You got to talk about him, and of course I'm sure he wouldn't have. But yeah, he explains about how certain scenes. For instance, I think one of the farmhouses in the beginning was owned by Leo's brother-in-law or something like that. So yeah, it was a very closely knit project, and Leo reached out to a lot of people that he knew for help, making this project. But also, I think because they were affected by the topics talked about in this movie as well. And the only other thing is a 30-minute interview on Pacifica Radio from 1958 with Paul Robeson, talking about different topics such as his passport situation. His family is mentioned, and just why he's living in Europe and the American people, and he talks about, I think he mentions the Constitution for a bit. They talk about democracy and other different kinds of topics. And so yeah, it's a chance to hear Robeson speak out about a number of things, and talk about his singing career and what the future entailed. Yeah, I think he died in the 70s, so yeah, he had a couple of years forward. But yeah, so anyway, don't have much else to say. Citizens of the World again. Proud Family, not Proud Family, that's the Disney show. Proud Valley, A. Native Land, A. We end with a bang. So yeah, and just to summarize my feelings about Paul Robeson, again, I had been looking forward to this set since I started, since I was looking through Criterion's all the sets and all that, and I was kind of dismayed to find out that it was out of print. Of course, now I know why it was out of print, because Proud Valley is owned by Studio Canal, the a-holes who own every good movie in the Criterion collection, and decided to just swipe them all away from them because they're jerks. So yeah. However, I guess I believe that the Paul Robeson set is now back in print. At least I see it listed on Criterion's website. I don't know how much it is, but I'm curious now. I'm gonna go look on Amazon. I'm just curious how much Amazon is, because I would like to pick this up. I still do feel like this set, there were a lot of fantastic movies. Again, Proud Valley and Native Land were very, very, very powerful stuff. But I also, again, loved Borderline. The Tribute to an Artist was fantastic. The story, Paul Robeson's story is fantastic. Sidney Poitier's narration was great to listen to. Jericho was a great, great, great movie. And even the weaker ones like The Emperor Jones and Sanders of the River, they're part of the set because they are important. They may not stand up to. They may not be like some kind of they may not be right today, but they are still important. So alright, so Paul Robeson, Portraits of the Artist. They have it listed as $52. That's not bad for a Criterion DVD, for a Criterion set. So that is going to happen. Yeah, so for $52.87, that's not bad. So I'm sure Criterion is way more overpriced, but anyway. So that's it for anyway, that's it for me. overall, I give the Paul Robeson set an A-. The weaker movies do bring down my grade a little bit, but it's still a fantastic set. And also give it an A- because I feel like they could have done more. I feel like they could have, brought. I mean, I guess they had to pick the ones that they felt were the most important to his character and to his roles as an actor. Movies like King Solomon's Mine or Song of Freedom, I guess, didn't. However, if that was the case, why did they keep mentioning it in all the, people mentioned it in the interviews? Why didn't they include it? They could have added a fifth disc. I don't see why. I mean, unless they were really concerned about splitting it up so that they could have the face design. But anyway, there you are. So, Paul Robeson, Portraits of the Artist. I guess I've been calling it Portraits of the Artist, I guess is what it was actually called. Yeah, so anyway, Paul Robeson, Portraits of the Artist, A-. So that's it for this week. I want to thank you all for tuning in to my reviews of this set. I recommend pick it up. I'm definitely going to pick it up, if not before the next sale, definitely at the next one. And yeah, so that's it for this week. Obviously, so this Sunday we got our re-review, which will be Carl Theodore Dreyer's Day of Wrath, and then next week we've got next Tuesday we'll have Bicycle Thieves, and then the 49th, and I think after that, then Wednesday will be Green for Danger, which I have right here. And then the next couple I don't have in my hands, but they're on my desk. I've got a whole stack of Criterion just sitting, just waiting for me to check them out. In fact, let me go and check my record. I know I've got 49th Parallels there. When a Woman Ascends the Stairs is there. And then the other ones I've ordered the ones after that. I think I ordered Brute Force, I think. No, I don't think I ordered that one. I think that one is coming. But yeah, I honestly cannot remember which ones I've ordered and which ones I haven't. Let me pull up my holds and find out what I got coming. Let's see. So I've got the let's see, Bicycle Thieves. Yeah, Bicycle Thieves. Naked City is here. Green for Danger. Fires on the Plain. Burmese Harp. Lahain. And my next review, which I'll go on and announce. Marcel Carnes' Les Enfants du Paradis. Which I might watch with Megan, because I don't know. Megan, I might ask if Megan joins me for that one. I'm not sure yet, because again, not sure what if our schedules align. And I know she's had some strong feelings about that movie when I've mentioned it. And again, my review for that one was not apparently wasn't good enough, So, and again, it's a long. I think the problem was it was long. It's an extremely long movie, and that'll do it, So, anyway, that'll be next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. I'll be me re-reviewing Children of Paradise, and yeah, and then I don't think it's maybe not this week. Let me take a look again. Let me look at my schedule, because we're coming up very, very close to the Eclipse series. I want to start the Eclipse series very, very soon. So I'm thinking, yeah, so next week will be Bicycle Thieves, Green for Danger, 49th Parallel, When a Woman Ascends the Stairs. And then the week after that will be Fires on the Plain, the Burmese Harp, Naked City, and Lahain. Then the week after that will be the Eclipse series. So that will be the week starting the 31st, the 31st of January, the 1st of February, 2nd and 3rd of February, and all that. So yeah, so that week will be the first set in the Eclipse series, which will be, I believe it's the early Bergman set. So I've got to put a hold on that. I think movies like Torment, Crisis, gosh, I forget the names of them. Let me look them up real quick. There's Torment, Crisis, Port of Joy, I think. No, Port of Call. Torment, Crisis, Port of Call, Thirst, and To Joy. That's where I got it mixed up. So those 5 movies will get knocked out next week. And then, yeah, I've got to figure out the release dates for the next couple series. The Documents of Louis Malle is Series 2, and then Late Ozu and Raymond Bertrand, which I guess only has 2. There's only 2 movies in that one. And then Series 5, the first films of Samuel Fuller, and Carlos Sora's Flamenco Trilogy. Anyway, so on and so forth. There you are. So anyway, I've talked long enough about this. That's it for me. Thank you for watching Proud Valley. I don't know. Be careful. If you're a miner, be extremely careful. Native land, don't mess with unions. Don't, because unions do good work. And as far as the Paul Robeson set in general, never underestimate the power of a black man with a strong voice. That's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all on Sunday for my re-review of Day of Wrath. And until then, goodbye.